Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. I just want to touch this evening really on religion, which obviously I have done in a couple of other videos, and I have mentioned different aspects of that in a few more videos that I've done over the past few months. So how do we make this practice of mediumship, if you like, how can we slot that in with our own or even our family's beliefs regarding religion? So the problem is, I think, for some people is that they kind of don't accept all that they've read or what they've been taught, which makes it kind of difficult for them to get a grip on exactly which path they should be following. And obviously, there are many aspects of all different religions that tend to fit. Maybe small parts of a number of religions ring true to you, but not 100% one specific religion. And like I said, that can make things quite difficult. I think what you need to understand is there is no reason in this world why you need to follow one particular religion. There's no law to say that you have to do that. We're all born into a certain religious belief system, depending on where we are in the world, and we are born into that, and it's one that we tend to follow from birth to some degree. So how does that fit in with like your mediumship? So we all understand that there are certain aspects of certain religions that are against what we do. They see it as darkness, they see it as evil, even though many of the seers of the past, if you like, many of the holy men of the past had that connection with, be it God, be it Buddha, be it whatever, they had that connection. It's on the back of that connection that they would preach. They would speak spiritual truths. And that is all on the back of that connection that they had with them. So in a sense, a kind of mediumship, if you like. So we have to understand that it's not necessary for us as mediums to have to follow a specific religion in order to be practicing mediums. Now, for me, one of the closest, I say religion, it's not necessarily a religion, but one of the closest aspects for me of any truth comes from some of, not all, but some of the American Indian culture, very close to nature, worked very close with nature, and a lot of their understanding I have a real strong sense for. I kind of accept a lot of what they say. So, I mean, I was brought up C of E, Church of England. We definitely was not a strong religious family at all, but that is the religion that I was born into. And like I said, we wasn't a very strong religious family. Things that obviously happened in my childhood, things that I understood, things that I saw, different experiences that I had, kind of led me into a different world of spirituality, I guess. It certainly wasn't one that has any family history to it, not that I'm aware, and it was one that kind of was just sprung upon me, I guess. So I didn't really follow any true religion at all. And obviously, in my school days, we had the assemblies with the hymns and the prayers, like every other child of that era. So I was going to say unfortunately, but it's not unfortunate. I probably thought that then as a child as to why I thought differently, why I would think the way I thought, why I would lay awake even as young as, I believe, 7 or 8 years old, just thinking about life. Not necessarily what had happened that day, if someone had been horrible or nice or nothing like that. But I would think about at that age, excuse me, life's purpose, the reason behind it, which is, I see that now as being slightly strange to say the least, but hey ho, that's how it happened. So I was questioning at a very, very young age, and I was putting questions out there at a young age. So I'm a strong believer personally that religion is a very personal thing. We are all individual souls, we are all individual energies that are seeking the truth. We may not physically believe we are doing that. We don't wake up every morning thinking, right, what piece of truth shall I try and find out today? That doesn't happen. But so, kind of subconsciously, as an energy, as we learn, as we experience life, we are finding certain aspects of truth through that experience. So kind of subconsciously, we are learning daily. Do we need to be preached about how we should live our lives? Personally, I do not believe in preaching that, because it is a natural understanding that we already have. We already have the understanding of life. We already have that knowing of good and bad. We already understand that. The only thing is that because the way life is, the way we've made life, is that we are no longer in touch with that knowing, that understanding. So, there are numerous religions, many we've probably never heard of and probably never will hear of, but there are numerous religions, numerous gods that all state different elements of truth. So it's a bit of a minefield, I guess, if you're looking for a religion that you think may well fit. I will get slated for this probably. I don't believe as a kind of spiritual seeker, if you like, or light worker. I don't like the word religion, because if we look back over time and see the damage that many religions have done, how many wars religion has caused, the number of deaths that have been carried out in the name of religion, then for me, okay, something is terribly wrong, because no spiritual element of any religion would give the thumbs up to taking another person's life. What frightens me, I guess, is the more of a religious route the spiritual movement takes. If we're not too careful, then I think we could fall into that same trap of trying to control and trying to preach truth. We cannot stand, I personally don't believe we can stand at a podium, wherever, preaching about spiritual truth. Because like I said, it is an inner knowledge that is there in us all. We do not need that preaching element. There are good things, obviously, that come out of religion, as well as bad. There are good things. And maybe those good things are there just to keep reminding us of how we should be as human beings, as a human race. So there's that good side to that. But there's nothing worse, for me personally, than having someone knocking at the door trying to tell me about what's right and what's wrong, and what I should believe and what I shouldn't believe. My answer normally, depending what sort of hurry I'm in at the time when the door goes, normally it would just be, sorry, but I believe that's personal and it's personal to me, and I'm not prepared to stand and talk about it. Sometimes that works. I'm very polite and say, okay, thank you, and walk away. Sometimes it doesn't, and I'll probably be at the door for a good hour if I'm not careful, answering all the questions that they ask me and vice versa. So it can sometimes go on for quite a while. But that's the answer, really, is that they should not be knocking at a door trying to preach what they believe is the truth. Because after all, the same for any belief system, any religion, is simply what has been passed down over generations. And many times what has been passed down has also been altered. And like I've said in other videos, you cannot alter truth to suit. So where do we fit in as mediums? And obviously the spiritualist movement itself has been classed as a religion. And like I said, that's something that does bother me to some degree, because I just don't want to see our beliefs go down that rocky road of other religions. I believe in God, and I believe in the existence of Jesus as a person upon this planet, but I also believe there have been many like him who have that communication with the source, with the Great Spirit, and they talk with truth to try and lighten that spark in us all. The source itself, like I said, runs through everything. All life contains that source, and we are part of, an element of that source. Nothing alters that, no matter what our beliefs. We can believe what we like, but that runs through us all. There's no coincidence. There is a plan in motion, as there was for the world and its seasons, the animal kingdom. That plan will never, ever falter. So no matter what we believe in or what we're preached, we will just ride that wave of creation anyhow. So trying to get back to where we allow religion into our lives to some degree, as well as practicing our mediumship. Like I said, for me personally, I believe in God. I believe in that life force. I believe in that life force of love and of light. I've experienced that. I experience it through the mediumship side of things. And we see it around us every day. When we see that beauty in nature, what Mother Nature does for us, provides for us, that life energy, that life source, constant, day in, day out, the cycle of life continuing, uninterrupted. And sometimes, we, for argument's sake, if we're walking on a beach, on a deserted beach somewhere, we get that realization of just what a small, tiny part of this world we are. So if you worry yourself about religion and should I be doing this, should I be doing that, then I think it's unimportant to some degree. I have a faith in what I do. I have a faith in God, in the Great Spirit, in that source. I don't need necessarily to give that energy, that life force, a label. But obviously, we all need to be able to describe something. So therefore, we have to give it a label. But I think it's more important as mediums that we don't necessarily have to label that life force, that energy that we work with as God. You'll probably notice on some of the videos, I use different labels all the time. The Great Spirit, God, Source. I use a number of different labels. But it's not important that we do that. What's important is that we try and grasp that life source, that energy within ourselves. We do not need to label it. We do not need to have it explained to us. We just need to try and live by it. And the whole purpose of our own existence is to try and live as best we can within that life source. And learn by our mistakes so that we can grow spiritually, so we can engulf in a way that life source itself. So it engulfs us, so we can become it. And that is our purpose. we will become part of that. We are the food to that life source. That is the purpose of being. Like I said, life itself, if we literally was born into it and we literally died and vanished, would be absolutely pointless. There would be no reason behind it. And there is nothing that has no purpose. If there was, you can guarantee it would probably be something that we created ourselves. And much of what we create has the wrong reason behind it. It's a bit like nuclear energy, I guess. Nuclear power. Nuclear power itself came way too soon for us. Way too soon. I don't believe that we are at the right stage of our progression as spiritual beings, as having enough spiritual awareness to have stumbled across nuclear energy, nuclear power, because we could have done so much with that, rather, like even in medicine with radioactivity, that energy itself, we use it in medicine, but we can use it as a good way of providing energy as long as it's controlled properly. But what does man do? Decides that it would make a good weapon, which tells me to some degree that we stumbled across that way too soon. There are many things we will obviously stumble across in the future, and I'm just hoping that, we are at a stage of that progression that we can handle it properly and sensibly and use it for the right advantages of life itself, not to blow everybody to bits. We do not need to have these labels, these holy books. We do not need to have that because, like I said, we have that knowledge already. One aspect which is good, and it is good to do as a group as much as it is as an individual, is the power of prayer. And prayer can be done anywhere. We can make that link, we can send that love and thought and thanks at any stage of the day, wherever we are, we can do that. There is a peace within a church. We all feel that and we all sense that. We're all aware of that when we walk through those doors. It is a place where people will gather and send out that thought, that loving thought, that thankful thought, if you like, to the energy that flows through all. It's a peaceful place where we can go and be at one with that life source. And it must have experienced that yourself a number of times when you've walked into a church, into a mosque. But that can also be experienced in a wood, in a meadow. I get that same feeling in a wood, in a meadow, in a field even sometimes, in the countryside, is what I do in that church. I get exactly the same feeling, that gut feeling, that warmth in your soul. So it's a good thing sometimes to use whilst you're sitting in the power. Visualize that place that gives you that warmth. It's a good starting point before you start expanding yourself out into that life energy. It'll bring you peace and warmth as a foundation for your expansion. So you can use that sometimes. So I guess it's not really an underlying title, I guess, for what I'm talking about. So if the religious side of things concerns you, if you think you might upset maybe people that are very religious, and you're quite worried about how you're going to deal with that, then don't be. Your strength will be in the love and the light that you give out. People will know inwardly that you're not evil, you're not working in darkness. You are, in a sense, as close to any life source as anyone else who walks this planet. It doesn't matter what label they give their belief. It's unimportant. And as Spirit has said in the past, to me personally, we have no concern over what you label yourselves as in the name of religion. We have no concern. We have, I think the words were, we have little interest. What's important is that you live by that inner knowing. That is what is important, because that's where your truth lies. So if you're worrying about religion and upsetting people, then just go out there and shine, basically. Don't worry, just be who you are, and all will be well, believe me. So have a good evening, and please like and subscribe. Pop over to Patreon if you like, where I'm doing some courses on there, well, a course at the moment, and there will be more to come over the next week or two. I plan to get quite a bit more on there now. It's been a bit stagnant, it's been very busy, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll all change now. Take care. Like I said, please like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Please leave any comments and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I have a number of messages and things still to get back to and answer. I will get back to you. You won't be ignored, believe me. So take care. Have a lovely evening. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.